So here we go. Apologies for the delay there, as we get ready to start what is going to be race 1 of the night. Okay, number 5, Ash is too shy. Let's hear that beautiful voice, Steve. Here I am, mate. Not going anywhere, Chief. So they go away on the warm-up lap. We've got Ashley Field from pole, as I've mentioned. If we go down the grid, Jack Braley second, third Phil Garside, fourth Jake Owen, fifth is Nathan Rutherford, alongside him is Luca Townsend, first of the ballast holders. Then it is Carl Cully and James Allen. Robert Newman and Ryan Powell make up the fifth row. Ryan Powell, of course, is the second holder of the Success Ballast. Then it is Conor Ambrose, Ryan's teammate. Alongside him is Ali Johnston. Then Callum Kirkpatrick and Andrew Lawrence. Stephen Cumming and Ben Berenson. It's row 8. Row 9 is Declan Evans and Kieran McKeldon, both from the MCE stable. And then back row is Shane Bellotti in 19th, and behind him is Mark Ruddick. Mark did mention that he was struggling to set clean laps. The only issue that has been mentioned about this track is where it has only the single main timing line halfway through the track. If you do dirty it after that at any point, it does of course dirty your next lap. So qualifying, a lot of drivers do find it difficult to set those clean laps if they do make a single mistake in the entirety of the back sector. As you can see, there he is, number 21, Ashley Field. Has held the number 1 number quite a few times, being an 8-time champion of course. He did win it 8 seasons in a row. So what we're going to do for the race start is get rid of the map, just to make it extremely clear so we can see everything that goes on. And I think tonight might ride on board for the start. I'm interested to see the... In fact, no, I think I'll hold off for the first round, alright? See how all the cars go off, see what this camera angle looks like. Of course, being the Forza Motorsport camera angles, a lot of them are a bit dodgy, as have been mentioned quite a bit. Or of course your one running joke is that the car you'll be looking at a decent setup of all, and then next thing you know you're looking at a car's rear quarter, which no one really wants to see. We want broadcast cameras. Turn 10, listen to us. So yeah, not the best camera angle really, is it? Just showing the front 3, just catching back to Nathan Rutherford there in his Chevrolet. So let's get that map back. You can see the cars all lining up. Just waiting for the last 2 to fill the gap now. So here we go. Cars starting to rev their engines just as they get into position. And we are green, and that looked like a bit of a jump from Garside in 3rd place, but we'll see what happens as Ashley Field sets the tyres light, and it puts Jack Brady into 1st place. As he looks to come to the inside to cover as much as he can. He's got Nathan Rutherford rubbing doors alongside him on his left-hand side, but it goes into the first turn. Looks like it is Jack Brady holding on to 1st place. That's a decent start for the Chevrolet driver. I didn't think he was going to get a good getaway. Ashley Field's getting hung out to dry on the inside. Contact a bit with Nathan Rutherford and looks to make some space. Jake Owen is going to dive up his inside. But it looks like everyone's getting through the first few turns cleanly. We switch to the front as Jack Brady has taken 1st place from that start. He's going to try and get a gap, but he's taken Phil Garside along with him. He's getting a little bit of a gap to the cars behind him straight away, but Phil Garside will try and follow him as much as he can. Garside looks to brake late, taking him as there's a big bunch going into those turns then. See if anyone got hung out to dry and drop him back. It looks like everyone seems to be going through there cleanly. See Jack Brady coming through. There's a big battle going on for 4th place at the moment. Let's quickly switch to that one, as it looks like Ashley Field, after his poor start, is getting a bit of contact behind between that looked like Luca Townsend and Kyle Cully. Ashley Field looking at the three ahead of him, who did take him straight off the beginning. It was an immense getaway from Phil Garside. It did almost look like a jump. He got such a good getaway, but we'll have to check that one afterwards. As you can see, as we go around turn 1, go out onto the end of the first lap, apologies. We've got Jack Brady first, second is Phil Garside, third is Nathan Rutherford, fourth Ashley Field, fifth Carl Cully, as he got sixth is Jake Owen, looking like he's defending from 2 cars going into the first turn. He takes a late move. It looked like he was making a chance on Cully then, but behind him is that looks like Callum Kirkpatrick and Luca Townsend. So Callum has made a decent start from 13th on the grid, putting himself up into 7th as it stands. As we look behind him to see how everyone else is getting on, we've got Luca Townsend 8th, 9th is Andrew Lawrence, 10th is Ali Johnston, 11th is that James Allen in 11th. Yes it is, as he's looking to make some moves on the first lap. Looks like they've all got through there clean. He didn't see any contact coming through, but we'll make our way back to the front. Phil Garside has taken the lead now. Apology, I can't believe I've missed that one. Was that a mistake from Brayley that's caused that, or has Garside just been battling onto the back of him? So I'll have to keep an eye on this battle at the front. I'm going to zoom out on the map slightly to see, so I can see if there's a battle going on as we're going, as I don't want to try and miss anything. I say this as I miss a change of lead. My apologies. It's of course a 15 lap race, 14 racing laps and 1 warm-up lap to start off, so as we enter in now what is racing lap number 3, but on the counter it does show up as 4. But it's Phil Garside, then Jack Brady. Ashley Field has now jumped up into 3rd with Nathan Rutherford in 4th, Carl Cully 5th, 6th Jake Owen, 7th is Callum Kirkpatrick, 8th is Luca Townsend, 9th. There's just been a position swap between Luca Townsend and Andrew Lawrence. Let's switch over to them and see if we can see what's going on, if they're still side by side going into turn 3. Looks like the inside is held by Lawrence, but Ali Johnson's put himself right in the mix as well. And then right behind them you've got the mixed energy VTX Audis of Ryan Powell and Connor Ambrose. So look to see what's going on as Garside and Brayley, as well as Ashley Field sat in 3rd, looking like Ash has got onto the back of them after getting a little bit of a gap behind him to Nathan Rutherford, so he's going to be looking to make a move on these two quite quickly. We know what Ashley is like. If he gets a bad start, he will try and fight his way back through. He's one of the best drivers on the grid for making his way back through the positions. But he hasn't got 2 easy competitors to get past here in Brayley and Garside. Brayley, a race winner in his own right, obviously come back this week to replace the absent Brandon Roos. But Garside, the one in front, did of course take pole position for last week's race at Road Atlanta and held on to that place for quite a lot, but unfortunately did lose out on the race win eventually. As we zoom into the map again, it looks like there's a massive battle going on for 4th now, which is now held by Carl Cully. Let's switch over to that one, as he's got Nathan Rutherford on his outside, and on his inside coming into is Jake Owen. Jake looks to have made a good move, but there's a switch back from Carl Cully looking to use the acceleration on that Chevrolet, but Jake has held on to the position. Nathan Rutherford's still on the outside looking to make that move, but Carl's just going to trade a little bit of paint with him as he's looking to make a gap. Looks like Jake's going to hold on. That's a decent move into turn 1, but that's where using the strength of that Mercedes-Benz is coming in handy, but Carl's looking, he's all over the back of him and looking to make that move. I'll stick with this for a bit, as Nathan Rutherford's looking to see if he can try and get a decent run through after the straight. He's hanging it on the outside, see if he can get the inside to the next turn. Carl cleverly shuts the door and keeps that position. Let's go back to the front. We can see that Ashley Field has got past Jack in that move. Oh, sorry, it's alongside Jack Brady as they go into the sweeping right-hander, ready onto the bank section to then use this cut in into the final 2 turns. Jack has got the inside. We expect to see Ashley Field do the switch back here to take the outside line, look to get the better run, maybe hug behind him. He's given a little bit of contact, that's going to slow him down, possibly give Jack the position for the time being. All this is doing is allowing Phil Garside to get away at the front, so Ashley's going to try and get past as quick as he can. So we can see that Nathan Rutherford's dropped off this battle between Owen and Cully. Is he now going to be in the clutches of 7th place Callum Kirkpatrick? Let's see how he's getting on. He's looking, doesn't look like he's going to be close enough to make the move, so keep an eye back through the grid. Kieran Killen made some decent moves. We've got Robert Newman on the back of Ben Berenson for 18th place. As he looks to make that dive up the inside. Is he going to make that stick? He's holding the outside line into turn 2. Ben holding the inside. He's going to have the advantage coming to the next turn. That's a decent move there from Robert Newman to make his way up. Make our way back through the grid. We can see that Nathan Rutherford's got back onto Kyle Cully. Is on the outside of him going into the back corner on the back end of the back straight. Carl's looking like he's going to try and defend it, but Nathan chops in front of him and takes that position. That's a decent move from Rutherford. As you can see, Ashley Field and Jack Braley still battling here for second place, and again this is allowing Phil Garside in the STR Audi TCR to get away. Looks like Jack missed the apex slightly, and that's allowed a little bit of a gap for Ashley Field to try and make that move. But again, that's one thing that's been said about this Honda, is that due to its advantages being through the corners, it's a car that not many people tend to find much enjoyment in racing. It's only really been Ashley Field that's found decent times with it and decent position gains. As I can see that Kyle Cully has dropped back behind Callum Kirkpatrick now. This is the BMW driver, looks to have followed Rutherford through, so I've missed that one. Then behind them you've got Luca Townsend looking to make moves on his team stable partner of Andrew Lawrence, both from the JSB stable. Been rumours that Luca Townsend will be leaving JSB at the end of the season. It'd be interesting to see whether that is a move that does come about. As you can see behind them, that did look like two cars side by side between Ryan Powell and Ali Johnston. Looks like Ryan's taking that position. No, they do a little bit of a bump there as they go through the section. That's it's tough to see whether that would be a overtake off track, as he did of course use the inside line, but as they look to go 3 wide into the turn at the end of the back straight, Conor Ambrose has got a quality run on the pair of them, and he's taken both of them going down the back straight. What a move! This battle's really heating up. Behind that you've got Conor Ambrose, Ryan Powell, Ali Johnson is onto the back of them, has now come James Allen and Stephen Cumming. As I switch this battle for 6th, that is also heating up. So you can see Nathan Rutherford, Callum Kirkpatrick, Callum's now got to the front of this, so he's climbing up all the positions up to 5th now, that looks like. In front of them, Jake Owen has escaped the pack and has gone to chase down Ashley Field and Jack Braley. But again, Phil Garside is getting away with this battle for 5th, really heightening up. Looks like Luca Townsend's going to try and make a move on the 2 Chevrolets in front of him, but he hasn't got quite got the power to get alongside with that 5% success ballast. So take a quick look at the race info. Let's have a look and see what's going on. So Phil Garside's got the lead. Best lap at the moment is held by Jake Owen, so he's currently going to be the one holding on to that bonus point that you do get at the end of the race for taking the fastest lap of said race. Jake Owen is really gaining on the back of these guys. Luca Townsend looks like he's getting through, and Kyle Cully's dropping back slightly. As Conor Ambrose sat in 10th now, is just about escaping the clutches of 11th place Ryan Powell. As we can see, it's still Callum Kirkpatrick holding on to 5th place. Ahead of them, it does look like Ashley Field has now got 2nd place. That's a move or a change at the podium. They have got to keep an eye out for that fast approaching Mercedes-Benz of Jake Owen. Sat in 4th place, but of course holding on to that fastest lap now. The interesting thing to see now is whether Ashley Field is now going to look to gap away from Braley and chase down the escaping Phil Garside, who it looks like he's taken quite a lead, over 500-foot gap. That's as they enter the back straight, as they enter the start-finish line. So we go on to lap 10. We've got our top 10 of Garside, Field, Braley, Owen. Going back to Kirkpatrick, Rutherford, Cully, Townsend, Lawrence, and then Conor Ambrose in 10th. Look to see. Looks like you've potentially got 2 cars side by side between Townsend and Cully, as Townsend looks to go for the inside line. Is Cully going to defend that one? He looks like he's left him a little bit of room. So he's just peering alongside his rear quarter. Cully gets a bit unsettled on the curves. That's going to give Townsend the run that he needs. Townsend wasn't carrying that success ballast. He probably would have already got past him at this point. But Cully does hold the inside line into the next turn. Turns 7 and 8 they go, as it looks like Jake Owen sets a 27.1 on that previous lap to go even faster, so that's definitely going to be something to watch out for. But it does look like Luca Townsend's got past Cully and held onto that line. There's a kick of dust up there in the background. I think that was from the Chevrolet of Andrew Lawrence, who's tucked on the back of these. Make our way to the front, check out the leader, Phil Garside, getting away in his Rogue Energy STR Audi TCR. Gap is just dropping a little bit, as it looks like Ashley Field is starting to get that gap that he was looking for, as Brady looks to now be defending from Jake Owen. So this is something the Garside is going to have to watch out for, because when Ashley Field is on his own, he does tend to set some extremely quick laps. It looks like Owen and Brayley side by side. Looks like Owen might have taken the outside line into turn 2. It's going to be the outside for turn 3 and 4, but you can see Brayley's taken a tighter line, so you might get a decent exit, try and pull alongside down the back straight. So they do the quick left-right chicane. Slotted in behind him is Owen. Not sure if he's going to have the pace down the back straight to really challenge for that position quite yet. As you can see, gaps are starting to form in the packs as Conor Ambrose has escaped 11th place decently and is now looking to get onto the back of this battle for 7th between Townsend, Cully and Lawrence. So he'll be another one to keep an eye out for. But looking back down the grid, it doesn't look like much else is going on. We've got battling for 19th between, as it looks like, a Cohen wide. There was that Robert Newman going wide, and no, Shane Bellotti going wide, and Newman's allowed to get alongside him. Potentially a position swap here for 17th, but it's decent recovery there from Bellotti to keep hold of that position. Make our way back through the grid. Stephen Cummins just looking like he's battling for 13th alongside James Allen, going side by side through the... Going into the final turn now. Doesn't look like that position's going to be swapping anytime soon. As you can see, it's Phil Garside still with that lead to Ashley Field, but that lead is dropping quick to Jack Braley. And as we look and see that Stephen Cummins looks to have got alongside and passed. Good move there by Stephen Cummins, getting past the Audi TCR with MCU of James Allen. In front of them, Ali Johnson will be the next one to challenge down, as Conor Ambrose looks like he's got onto the back of 9th place, which is Andrew Lawrence, who dropped off a little bit from the Chevrolets in front of him of Cully and Townsend. So Ambrose will be looking to make that move. He takes a look at the inside, but it's not a position he's going to gain quite yet. Go back and seeing how the lead is definitely dropping as Ashley Field setting in. He hasn't quite set the fastest lap of the race yet, but you can see that gap between himself and Garside is dropping, but I'm not sure whether it's dropping quick enough to be a challenge for the end of the race, but Garside's going to have to watch out. You can see battling between Conor Ambrose getting onto the back of the pack, and it looks to also be bringing Ryan Powell, who did look like he kicked up a little bit of grass there. Behind them, looks like Declan Evans has gotten involved as well. I'm not sure if he's... I think he's dropped back to there. I think he was... before was tucked onto Ali Johnson, so... I could be wrong there, so don't hold me to that one, but you can see the lead of Garside has dropped to nearly 300 feet now, where it was 500 a couple of laps ago, so... that's going to be something to watch out for. To look through, there's no real battles going on currently near the back of the grid, so we'll stick with this main one at the front between 5th place Cullen Kirkpatrick and 6th place of Nathan Rutherford, both taking the differing lines through the quick left-right chicane onto this back straight. Looks like gaps are starting to form now, so the battles that have been going on look like they're going to calm down. So the main one is at the moment this one for 5th place, which is a bit of a 5-car train with a little bit of a gap involved. 4th place Jake Owen has dropped a little bit back off of Jack Braley now. Be interested to see how that gap is going between Garside and Field. That's now dropped to 200 feet. Actually, Field is really putting in some quick lap times at the moment to try and get back onto Garside. A few laps ago, like I said, it was about 500 to 600 feet going onto the back straight, and it's going onto the home straight, but across the line is when it's starting to get to 500, so Field is definitely putting in those quick times. Got Luca Townsend on all over the back of Nathan Rutherford there in the background. Behind them you can see Cully and I believe that was Andrew Lawrence. Yeah, Connor Ambrose and Ryan Powell are just sat behind. Those two are going to be prime position at the moment, but of course with the way the setup does work for race 2, positions between 6th, which of course at the moment is Nathan Rutherford, and 12th, which would be Ali Johnston, is dropping back. But that's going to be the position change. That's going to be the position that could potentially get pole position. So, have to see what happens there. This battle for third place between Jack Briley and Jake Owen looks to be the main point. As you can see in the background there, apologies, is Nathan Rutherford, Callum Kirkpatrick, and that looked like Luca Townsend all going 3 wide going into this technical last final second. It's really close between the pack. Carl Cully looking to get himself involved as well. Looked to be a little bit of paint trading. That's why you can see the grazes and the bumps all over this pack, and that's bringing Connor Ambrose and Andrew Lawrence into the back of this. So they're going on to the home straight to start the 14th lap of the race. Really heating up here. You can see Luca Townsend looking to make a move up the inside of Callum Kirkpatrick as he takes 6th place currently. Into the braking zone now. Rutherford holding on to first of this pack, of course. Looks like Callum Kirkpatrick has taken back 6th place, followed by Townsend, and Cully looked to be making a move up the inside of Townsend there, but it's closed quickly. This train here for 5th place is the main action point currently. Have a quick check to see how the lead is going, and that lead is dropping massively between Field and Garside. I'll check back to that in a second just to check if that position is going to be changing. But at the moment this main battle here is, it looks like Cully's looking to try and make a move around the outside and put himself on the inside of Luca Townsend going through the left right, but that's not going to happen there. Andrew Lawrence at the back of this is looking to get involved, as is Connor Ambrose. Both really in a prime position should this all end in tears, which, considering how close they all are at the moment, is something that could potentially happen. As Rutherford looks to try and get a gap, as you've got 2 cars side by side there, they look like Townsend and Cully. So look on board Rutherford as he goes through. That is a car dropping back big time. Who is that that's just dropped back and lost quite a bit? It's Callum Kirkpatrick who's dropped back to the back of this pack. Possible contact calls out, and I couldn't quite catch that one. It looks like, apologies, but Rutherford has got away, and Ryan Powell is now jumped up into 6th as they enter the final lap. So something happened there just out of view as I was watching the camera angle that follows Nathan Rutherford through that section. A little bit of contact there as Powell just taps the back of Lawrence. Let's check on the lead. That lead that Garside's got over Field is looking like it's strong enough. This main battle now for 6th place between Lawrence, Powell. So look, we're going 3 wide potentially into the left, right. Oh, bit of contact there between all 3 of them. Has sent Ryan straight on. That's Cespalis, you can really see it doing its damage. As Townsend looks to make a dive at the inside, Carl Cully alongside Townsend on the right. Is there there's contact on the back of... Oh, is that... That looked like it might push Ryan wide, but he's held onto the position well. Townsend looking to try and sneak it up on the inside. Powell's going to close the door, bit of contact there. Is Cully allowed to dive up the inside? Opportunistic move there by the Englishman, and that's potentially putting Luca Townsend in. There's 3 wide going into the back section now. But as we just quickly check, looks like Phil Garside is going to hold on to 1st place here, but I'm not going to look away from this position. Phil Garside crosses the line for 1st, 2nd Ashley Field, 3rd looks like it's going to go to Jack Braley, 5th is going to stick with Ryan Powell, and it looks like it is going to be Carl Cully who's going to come away with this. Powell and Townsend side by side over the line. It looked like Townsend just got that. What a finish that was. The rest of the cars are looking like they're coming over the line. Shane Bellotti ended up 20th, but fastest lap goes Jake Owen for the win here for Phil Garside. Insane finish there. But a win for Phil Garside, first win of the of the season. So have to bear with me to get prepared for race 2 of the evening. Okay, here we go. So we can see the cars getting lined up ready for race 2. After the reverse draw grid put Luca Townsend on pole position. Alongside him, Carl Kelly. Then it's going to be Andrew Lawrence and Nathan Rutherford, Jake Owen and Jack Braley, then Ashley Field and Phil Garside. Obviously Garside, Field and Braley all carrying on to that success ballast after their podium finish in race 1. Then behind them you've got Conor Ambrose and Ryan Powell. I believe Ryan is supposed to... I think those two are supposed to be the other way around. Oh, no, they've swapped that now. That's okay. As you can hear, the car's getting ready to make that start. Ooh. Go on board with Luca Townsend for the start of this race. We'll look back at Cully and Lawrence. You can see the pack all behind him. Revs climb. And away we go for race 2. It's a decent start for Townsend. He looks like he's got a beautiful getaway. Cully's dropping back. So you can see behind him not really anyone's going to be challenging Luca Townsend for that position into turn 1. Can't see much going on behind him, so go through turn 1. We can see Luca Townsend definitely held on to pole position. Decent getaway as Cully just sat behind him. It doesn't look like anyone's had any offs at the... Oh, there's been a big off at the back. Who's that that's caught up? That is Shane Bellotti, and Robert Newman has gone wide. So, disappointing start for those two, but you can see the battle for 5th. Braley looks to be battling alongside. That 3 wide there between himself, Jake Owen, and I believe that's Callum Kirkpatrick. That's a battle for 5th heating up. So everyone tries to get through, get those places as early as possible, but from a decent getaway, Luca Townsend sat on 1st place, Carl Kelly 2nd. At the moment the best lap is going to Shane Bellotti with a 2:41.5, because of course that's what they did in the warm-up lap. As we look through you can see a battle between... The battle for 9th is extremely close. It's Ryan Powell, Conor Ambrose, Ashley Field side by side in front of him between Ali Johnson and that looks like Jack Braley. Johnson taking that inside line. Is he going to make that stick? Braley's just keeping his nose in. Braley's got a decent exit to hold on to that inside line as well, so that's going to set this right up for Ambrose and Powell. As Ambrose has currently set the fastest top speed of the race, but Luca Townsend with that quick getaway has got himself a nearly 200 foot lead as Carl Cully and Andrew Lawrence side by side through turns 2. You can see a move being made here for 10th play. Is that Ryan Powell? Is that... Who's that that's gone out wide? That looks like Conor Ambrose has been hung out to dry and dropped back quite a few positions. He looks to have kept it. As he's just tucked in ahead of race 1's winner, Phil Garside. Looking to make that move on Jack Braley. The early position swaps between the cars here is going to be something to keep an eye out for, but it looks like Johnston and Powell getting together as they're going through that turn. Ambrose getting a little bit sideways as he goes through the quick left, right, left. Sorry, right, left, right. Apologies. You can see already Luca Townsend getting a massive lead on 2nd place with Carl Cully. Battle for 2nd between himself, Andrew Lawrence, who's defending as well from Nathan Rutherford, Callum Kirkpatrick, and Jake Owen sat in 6th place currently. Missed out on that podium in race 1, but that means obviously he's carrying no ballast into race 2. Sat on the back of this train of 5. Cully are getting a little bit of a gap as Lawrence and Rutherford getting alongside each other onto the straight. Not sure if Rutherford's going to be in a position to try and make the move into turn 1. You can see he's looking at it as he tucks in behind, tries to get that optimal line, get the good exit. So look further back, you can see it looks like Ali Johnston and Ryan Powell still side by side going through turns 1 and 2. It looks like Powell has potentially got that one. He's taking his teammate with him. Conor Ambrose being optimistic and sticking with his teammate, looking to make their way through the grid. But Johnson's fighting back. Owen and Kirkpatrick side by side on the back straight. Kirkpatrick holding on to the inside line, but is he going to be able to hold on to it into the braking zone of that, with that Mercedes? Looks like he's potentially going to keep that position for the time being, but Owen went for the cutback but couldn't get it stuck. So look further back, we can see this action for 9th place. It's the 8th place car there of Ali Johnston defending from 9th place Conor Ambrose as Ryan Powell gets away from this pack and let's chase down that battling 5 as it looks like 3 wide going through into the final corner there. Kirkpatrick and Rutherford side by side. Owen's sat behind. Rutherford looking to take that inside line. Owen's going to try and sneak in behind as Cullion and Lawrence get away, but it looks like Lawrence... apologies. Looks like Kirkpatrick's got alongside Nathan Rutherford. And is Owen going to make it 3 wide into turn 1? He's got that superior top line. Top speed is... It looked like Kirkpatrick and Rutherford came together there as Kirkpatrick tried to hold onto that inside line and tried to defend away from the oncoming Mercedes, and that's given Owen the chance to get the inside Rutherford into turn 3. All this is doing is allowing second and third to get away, but they're not quite getting away as quick as first place car of Luca Townsend at the moment. Ryan Powell, Alan Johnston, where is Conor Ambrose? He looks to have had Conor Ambrose had a massive off. He looks like he's had to pit for damage. That's an insane start for him. He was doing so well. It looks like hard to tell what happened there. I did miss that. So that is Ryan Powell for the mixed energy Audis as he's disappearing from this back lane. He kicks up a bit of dust. He runs a little bit wide. He's looking to get onto the back of this challenging pack for what is 4th place on track, as they look like they're gaining onto 2nd and 3rd of Cully and Lawrence as well, as Owen goes up the inside of Kirkpatrick, but that BMW with its low down acceleration looks like it's going to hold on to that one. Gets a bit squirrely on the exit, and that's going to allow Owen to make a look up the inside. We saw Kirkpatrick defend this one earlier by putting him as close to the wall as he could. This looks like he's going to do it again, but Owen's keeping it stuck this time. It looks like he's going to hold on to that inside line, but under braking Kirkpatrick has kept himself on the outside, which is then the inside for the next turn. That's brilliant defence by the BMW driver, former champion Callum Kirkpatrick. Right, I'm back after a short delay, apologies for that one. Always great when the phone rings when just you need to. So as I return, you can see Luca Townsend getting away in first. Second place, Carl Cully with Andrew Lawrence, and it looks like Callum Kirkpatrick, Jake Owen, Nathan Rutherford and Ryan Powell now are all getting onto the back of this queue, so this could be an interesting fight for the final two podium positions. As you can see, the Callum Kirkpatrick's actually made up 7 places in this race alone, so he's had a quality drive. Looking back through the field, the only main battle is between the teammates, and 15th and 14th between Kieran McKeldin and James Allen. So they go side by side at the end of the back straight. Looks like that position is going to be held by Allen, and all that's doing is bringing Declan Evans, the other MCE stable, in behind them. So that'll be a battle between those lot, but let's keep an eye on this one, as it looks like Carl Cully is slightly getting away, as Jake Owen has now put himself into 4th place. Runs really wide as I say it, so that's going to have dropped him back, and he's gone alongside now. Is that Andrew Lawrence and Nathan Rutherford, all 3 wide, and that's allowed. And it's hard to tell how much of a position shove that was, but that's put Ryan Powell right in the position to climb yet another place, who narrowly missed out on taking pole actually for this race, which was something that was mentioned. So pole position did obviously go to 8th place. Ryan finished 9th, 9 thousandth behind Luca Townsend, so this could be a completely different race for him had that been a different setup and had he got that position change, but just the way it goes sometimes. Look back through the field, we can see Conor Ambrose on his own back down in 20th, hoping to try and get back to the pack. It's going to take a miracle to get him back to these guys now. So we can see the 3 ballast holders of Garside, Field and Brayley just sat there together in 11th, 10th and 9th. Ali Johnson getting away from Nathan Rutherford and Andrew Lawrence 7th and 6th. 5th, Ryan Powell, you can see here right in front of us with Jake Owen defending from him. In front of them you've got Callum Kirkpatrick and Carl Cully holding on to 2nd and 3rd, and of course Luca Townsend getting away in 1st. There's no catching him today. He's also got the fastest lap of the race as well. It looks like Rutherford could potentially be setting up a move on Lawrence here. Looks like he's got him in fact, so missed that one, but that's a decent position swap for Nathan Rutherford, and as he looks to get onto the back of the pack in front of him, who he was just battling with, apart from that little bit of contact with himself, Lawrence and Jake Owen on the inside. It's a wide track, there's some points where any contact you'll drop so many places. It's such a momentum based track. Back to the front, you can see in front of us Lawrence and Rutherford. Rutherford's taken to the inside as Lawrence is sat right behind him. See whether Andrew's going to be able to make a move into the braking zone. He's waiting to see if Rutherford will pull out, but he's taken that outside line first. Will he look to be coming back? Looks like Rutherford's kept that one. It's a decent defending from the STR driver. That's bringing Ali Johnson into the back of this pack as well. Look around, we can see Stephen coming in 12th place in his BCR Luxim 24 Mercedes-Benz is on the back of the 3 ballast holders. With his superior top speed, you should see him look to potentially climb position here. He looks to pull on the outside of Phil Garside going into the back straight. Hope to make this stick into the braking zone. Looks like Garside in fact has ended up challenging Ashley Field and under braking, so that's decent from the SDR driver. Behind them you can see Ben Berenson is now getting involved. Look forward, we can see still Carl Cully in 2nd, followed by Callum Kirkpatrick, Jake Owen 4th, 5th is Ryan Powell, really on the back of him now. It looks like any mistake from Owen and Powell will be right there. Of course last season Powell was in that Mercedes-Benz, but you made the switch to the Audi S3 alongside the pickup of Conor Ambrose for VTX. Down the straight, I don't think there's going to be any position swap here unless there's a move under braking from Powell, but I think he's just going to stick behind until a gap opens up. Powell doesn't normally dive for a gap unless a mistake is made in front of him, so just keep one eye on that one. As you can see, gap behind, looks like Cummins is still unable to get to them, and Ben Berenson now 13th is really battling onto the back of this little train that's forming due to the people with their success ballast. The ART Racing Mercedes-Benz following the BCR Developments Mercedes-Benz. No real position moves at the moment. Looks like it's quite a, considering the hecticness that was race 1, race 2 looks to be a little bit calmer, but it was the final few laps of race 1 that started to get manic. Let's go back to the front. We can see Luca Townsend is away in the distance. He has got this lead nailed down, bar a major incident for himself. Behind them, Kyle Cully got a little bit of a gap to Callum Kirkpatrick with this Ben battle for 4th place between Ewan and Powell. And behind them you've got Nathan Rutherford, Andrew Lawrence, and now Ali Johnston on the back of him. Powell looks to make a move. He eyed that inside line. This is the sort of thing I was meaning with that, with the Welshman. Go back, Brady, Field. And now looking at this, it looks like James Allen has now dived up from what was a battle with 15th and 16th to join onto the back of this queue as well. So this is going to definitely be one that could heat up in the last few laps, as we see Powell is all over the back of Ewan, looking to possibly get a good exit as Ewan gets a wheel on the grass. Is that going to unsettle him enough to give Powell the inside line? He looks to dive into the inside, and a little bit of contact between the pair. Still making contact on the outside, so both are vying for that position. Ewan knows that Powell is there, and Powell is going to make that move should that gap open up at all. This is really the main battle that's going on at the moment. Everything after this is all pretty much solid in place. No real position for an overtake at the moment. Apart from really this battle that's forming behind the train that is now being headed by Nathan Rutherford, but as Ewan goes majorly wide here onto the grass, and that's giving Powell the position. Ewan is going to drop back now. He could possibly find himself being in the clutches of the oncoming pack led by 6th place Nathan Rutherford, so that's going to put Powell in. Powell is now up onto 4th, and with that little bit of a gap he's now formed, you can expect to see him look to chase down the lead 3, or at the very least Callum Kirkpatrick and Kyle Cully, because no one's catching Luca Townsend with his 2,000 feet gap right now. Looking back to 15th place, you've got Kieran McKeldin still defending from his teammate Declan Evans. Behind them you've got Robert Newman and Mark Roddick. 19th is still Shane Bellotti, and then of course 20th is Conor Ambrose after his early pit stop. Train behind Nathan Rutherford for 6th. Let's check on that one. So it's what is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 8 car battle here. So it looked like there was a car that went wide then. Was that Phil Garside? And that's left him up to the clutches of, first off, Stephen Cumming, and now coming through is Ben Berenson. Is that going to also allow James Allen in the MC Red Bull TCR to make a move as well? Bit of a lock up there under braking for Ben Berenson, but he's held on to that one. So a mistake there from Garside has dropped him back a couple places. Go back to the battle for 3rd as Callum Kirkpatrick on the back of Kyle Cully. Looks like a mistake might be made by Luca Townsend actually, because that gap has dropped from what was 2,000 feet. You've got James Allen here, 14th place. Sat looking at the back of, looks like Phil Garside taking an inside line, and Ben Berenson going onto the home straight, sorry. Berenson in that Mercedes is going to have slightly superior top speed, especially with the ballast being held by Garside at the moment. It doesn't look like, it looks like the Mercedes power is going to get him away today. Big lock up there it looked like from, I think that was both Stephen Cumming and Ben Berenson, which has really allowed Phil Garside to get right on the back of him again under braking. James Allen getting a little bit squirrely in the background there. As Callum Kirkpatrick is all over now the back of Kyle Cully as they're on lap 14 out of 15 here for race 2. Kirkpatrick is looking left, looking right, looking for that gap to make. But Cully is defending it well. Meaning it is a full reverse for race 3. This is going to be a hectic one. So Conor Ambrose is going to be starting from pole, as we can now confirm that the reason for his damage, he had taken engine damage due to a misplaced gear change, and it put him to 16.5% of damage on the Forza game, which of course is a massive drop in power. So your front 3 for the final round will be Conor Ambrose, Shane Bellotti and Mark Roddick, 2 VTX cars on the front 3. So I'll be disappearing for a second whilst we get ready for race 3. Be sure to keep an eye on this one because it's going to be a hectic final round of the weekend. In fact, let's see if we can get our race 2 winner in with us. It's an easy win for him. Let's see if we can get him in. Hello, is your audio included? If you could, mate.
There we go. There we go.
Alright. Easy win for you, really?
I'd say
Easiest
so,
win
yeah.
you've had? Got away quite quick and that was it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just had to make sure that I kept it clean through turn 1. Made sure that Kyle and all the guys behind me couldn't dive up the inside or make a move. And yeah, from then on, I just let them battle behind me and just started hot lapping basically, and managed to get a gap of about 2,000 feet at the end.
I was going to say, by about
Played well.
6 laps in, you were nearly 1,500 feet ahead, so it was kind of easy win.
Yeah,
At that point, it's just easy sailing
yeah.
for the rest of it, really, wasn't it?
I was just, I was just hot lapping for the most part of that race, just seeing what lap times I could get out of the Chevy for the team.
Yeah, no, it was a decent drive, and unfortunately, with your success ballast as well, you're going to be starting from the back for this round. Did you know that?
I found out, yes, from the guys in the party.
Full reverse,
Right.
full reverse for the final race.
That'll be exciting at the back.
So that's going to be
See
something.
where we can get up to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good luck for the final race. Hopefully, we won't
Cheers.
see
thank
any
you.
cars in the wall. But
I hope not. Hopefully not me.
hopefully not you, definitely. Won't get a repeat of last week at Atlanta at least, where
Yeah.
half the grid ended up at the wall at some point. But
God,
yeah,
yeah.
good win, and
Cheers,
good
man.
luck with that one,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we'll see you again.
Right, my audio is off.
I do. No worries, man. Cheers, that. Well done again. Yeah, as I thought. Hot lap. Easy win for him. So again, bear with us as we get prepared for what is going to be the final race of the night. That's definitely not right. We can see the positions being put into place now. As you can see the grid being formed with that full reverse grid as mentioned with Luca Townsend. Apologies for any background noise. Very loud cars in the neighbourhood. Does look like, however, that we have lost a driver. Try and figure out who it is who's disappeared. It was Andrew Lawrence, there we go. Answers that one quite easily. Here we go. Race 3. Get your popcorn, because this could be a manic one. Full reverse grid, quickest guys at the back. Arguably the slow guys at the front. So, here we are. So your grid for the final race. Ambrose, Bellotti, Ruddick, Newman and McKeldin is your top 5. Then follow them is Declan Evans, James Allen, Ben Berenson, Phil Garside, Stephen Cumming, Ashley Field, Jack Braley, Ali Johnston, Andrew Lawrence, Nathan Rutherford, Jake Ewan, Ryan Powell, who will be gutted who have missed out on that podium and have to start all the way back here. But then our podium finishes from race 2. Callum Kirkpatrick, that's not Ryan Powell, that is Carl Cully. And at the back, Luca Townsend. It's going to be a manic with this one, with our race winners and everything like it found in the mid-pack and at the back. Be interested to see how they will get away. I'll do the same again this time, where we'll watch it from the rear of Conor Ambrose for the start. So we can see that mixed energy VTX Audi looking back at the grid as they look to make the form up. Get that last bit of heat into the tyres, hoping to get a decent getaway. The Audi's not known for its starts. The one to watch will probably be the best starter is going to be Declan Evans in 6th place with that Chevrolet. And then really there's no other quick starters apart from the potential of those TCRs, but they haven't quite got the same getaway as the rest. But you can see, looking back from the rear of Conor Ambrose, looking at the final cars getting into position. Can see the podium finishers from race 2 getting into position at the back now. So time's been called. The revs start to climb. We are green for race 3. It's a poor start for Ambrose. It looks like a good getaway from Ruddick and from Shane Bellotti. He has taken first place straight away. We'll switch straight away to him. Looks to have got a very good getaway from 2nd place. Connor looks to have taken 2nd place straight back from Mark Ruddick. They look to be side by side, but Shane Bellotti taking first place. Conor Ambrose in 2nd. Behind them, can't really see anything. One car looks to have gone wide at turn 1. That was, unfortunately, that was the STR Chevrolet of Nathan Rutherford. But that's your start. Shane Bellotti got a good getaway to get himself in front. Conor Ambrose is chasing him already. He's going to look to try and get that position as quick as he can. Then the pack is looking is slow behind them, slightly behind Mark Ruddick, who's under pressure from Kieran McKeldin. McKeldin looks to have taken 3rd place, and Declan Evans with that Chevrolet is looking to follow him through as well. Ruddick looks to be getting swallowed by the pack currently after what could have been a slight mistake, but that's how quickly you can drop back here. Let's quickly have a look and see how he's getting on. The pack is so bunched behind them. Ruddick is battling with Garside, our race 1 winner. Garside looks to make a move around the outside. That's a decent move if he keeps that one. Looks like he's made that one stick. So yeah, Ruddick dropping down to 6th place, but we go back to the front, we can see that it's Conor Ambrose now in the lead. He's got that move done on Shane Bellotti, and he's going to look to try and get a decent start to get away. So Ambrose, Bellotti, followed by McKeldin and Declan Evans in 4th, 5th is currently Garside, 6th for Mark Ruddick, 7th is Newman, then it's Berenson and Cumming and Ewan heading up this battle for 10th. Back to the front, see Conor Ambrose going through turn 1 and 2. Fast lap of the race at the moment is going to Ryan Powell, but that's going to change as the laps go as the race goes on. So it looks like Shane Bellotti getting very feisty there with Conor Ambrose looking to make that move, stick into this quick left right onto the back straight. They're still side by side, is Ambrose and Bellotti. Kieran McKeldin right behind to pick up any scraps. Is he going to make a move into the braking zone? Make it 3 wide, he's sticking his nose in. It doesn't look like it's going to stick, but Bellotti gets swallowed by Kieran and by Declan Evans, and he's dropped back down to 4th, and now he's at the clutches of Phil Garside. He looks to make a move as McKeldin looks to make the move for the lead on Ambrose. Opportunistic dive he's taken there, but it looks like Ambrose is going to keep it just going through, and that's put Declan Evans now on the outside for 3rd place. Is he going to make the move on the 2 behind him? As you can see, Shane Bellotti's moved down to 5th place now as he's falling back behind. Phil Garside's got that one, made that stick. But it looks like potentially Kieran McKeldin has held on to 2nd place, so it's Conor Ambrose as we come through the final corner. You can see that it's a move made by Phil Garside on that looks like Phil Garside has made a decent move to make it into 3rd place on Declan Evans. So you can now see him looking at the back of that Red Bull Audi. So he's made that move stick on the long-term OMA driver Declan Evans, back in the Chevrolet after a couple of seasons in the Honda. Let's look back through the pack. Main battle at the moment, you've got 2 potentially side-by-siders. That's 8th place of Mark Ruddick. It looks like he's battling here, but he's slowly dropping down the order as well. The thing with this track is so momentum-based, you make a single mistake and you start to drop so quickly. Go back to the front, we can see Conor Ambrose getting a little bit of a lead over Kieran McKeldin. He's having to defend from Phil Garside. He's got Declan Evans right behind him, 5th place. Shane Bellotti is still on after that with 6th place being Robert Newman. So we can see Ashley Phil making a move on the outside of both Cumming and Ruddick. What a move by the former champion. And that's got Ryan Powell involved as well. This battle is really heating up. Ryan Powell holding on to that success balance. Looks like... no apologies, no success balance for Ryan. That's just a visual glitch for Forza. Powell currently sat on 11th place alongside, that looks to be, is that Luca Townsend? No, it's Jack Brady who's alongside. We go back to the front, we can see still Conor Ambrose followed by Kieran McKeldin holding off Phil Garside. He's having a look behind him as well at Kieran McKeldin. We can see him on board at the moment with Ryan Powell alongside Jack Brady going into turn 1. He's going to make the move down the inside. Looks like he's going to hold on to this one under braking. As Conor Ambrose has set the fastest lap of the race so far with a 28.3, so he's holding on to that bonus point now. As you can see, Ryan Powell has made that move stick on Brady. That's a decent move. Now Brady is now having to watch behind him as Luca Townsend looks to be right behind him. Townsend obviously holding on to ballast after his win of race 1, and it looks like Powell has made a slight mistake, and that's brought Luca Townsend right back into this. So he's got past Brady, well alongside, sorry, his teammate. These two are going to have to make sure they're not battling too much, otherwise the cars around them are going to get away. And Ryan Powell is looking to try and do that as quick as he can. You can see James Allen all over the back of Luca Townsend looking to make that gap. So go and check up at the front. We can still see it's Conor Ambrose followed by Kieran McKeldin, followed by Phil Garside, and in 4th place you've got Declan Evans 5th, Shane Bellotti still holding off Robert Newman, and 7th place Stephen Cumming. 8th Berenson, 9th is Ashley Field, 10th JQ, in 11th Ryan Powell, 12th Jack Brady, 13th is Luca Townsend looking to make a move on his teammate in front of us. 14th James Allen, 15th Mark Ruddick, who's really dropped back, 16th for Callum Patrick, 17th Paddy Johnston, 18th is Nathan Rutherford, 19th Andrew Lawrence, and 20th is Carl Cully with his ballast. So you can see Kieran McKeldin is having to hold off Phil Garside going into turn 1. Phil's looking to make that move. McKeldin looks like there was a bit of a tap under brake in there. It's hard to see what quite happened there under that, but it did look like there was a late brake in but it's hard to tell from the camera angle that was shown there, so that'll be something that we'll look at afterwards. So he's now under pressure from Ashley Field, who's under pressure himself from the BCR Mercedes of Jake Owen. So all this means is that first is still Conor Ambrose, second is Phil Garside with Declan Evans in third place right behind him. Fourth running slightly wide there was Robert Newman. Is that going to allow an opening for the cars behind? No, sorry, Shane Bellotti, and that's got Kieran McKeldon right behind him, possibly to make him look at making another move with this drain that's forming. So you can see who was nearly making the mistake. That was Jake Owen, who couldn't quite tell who that was that made that mistake. It looked like it was actually Kieran McKeldon, who late braked himself slightly there and did miss out. You can see going over the line to like start lap 7. Still Conor Ambrose all the way. Phil Garside, Declan Evans fourth is currently Shane Bellotti at the head of this pack. Behind him you've got Ashley Field in fifth, who's looking to get up through the pack as quick as he could. Sixth, Jake Owen ahead of his teammate. So you can see that looked like Jack Braley running slightly wide at turn 1, so he's dropped back to 10th and has had to slot in behind Ryan Powell. Sixth place Jake Owen is looking like he's trying to make a run on Bellotti as Ashley Field has got past Bellotti as well, so possible mistake maybe by Shane, which has allowed the opening for Field and Owen to get through. These two will look to try and clear this as quick as they can. You can see that Jake Owen has set the fast lap of the race so far with a 27.525, which is again that bonus point that is so important come season end, if looking at how close this season is going so far. Just going to look through, you can see at first is still Conor Ambrose, followed by Phil Garside, followed by Declan Evans, and then you've got this battle for fourth, which is now headed by Ashley Field in fourth place. Obviously tucked behind him is Jake Owen, but he's going to try and follow him through to get this pack for third and possibly look at making that challenge for the lead. If I zoom out, it doesn't look like all the cars are so close together still. You can see there's a big battle going on behind for 10th. Who's that? The side by side. It looks like Hallie Johnson and Robert Newman. Still side by side going into the final turns. Johnson going to hold on to that one. I just caught a glimpse there of that. Looked like Stephen Cummins and Ryan Powell really going at it. Apologies, that was Ryan Powell who got past, and he's now on the back of Shane Bellotti, while in front of them we've got Jake Owen. As we look at the lead, Garside is looking like he's getting away from Declan Evans and is going to be looking to challenge for Conor Ambrose for that win. So far, no one has won 2 races in a single meeting this season. The closest we've had is Luca Townsend, who took 2 podiums, which is obviously which was for round 1, where he took the 2nd place in round 1 and 1st place in round 3, and obviously Ashley Field did the opposite of him, with Ryan Powell taking 3rd in both races, but no one has won 2 races in the same meeting. Is Phil Garside going to be the ones to try and make that difference? As you can see, Ashley Field and Jake Owen is now getting away in 4th and 5th from this pack, headed by Ryan Powell now, who's got past Shane Bellotti. Stephen Cummins, Jack Braley and Luca Townsend sat there all battling between them. You see Kieran McKeldon dropping back now to 13th after potentially an accident at turn 1, and then the mistake going into the turns we can see these cars going through now. Conor Ambrose still sat in 1st place ahead of Phil Garside, Declan Evans, and of course Ashley Field and Jake Owen are looking to get onto the back of Evans and making that push for the podium. Meanwhile, you can see behind them the battle for 7th is really heating up with Shane Bellotti heading this train. So you can see a car there that looked like Jack Brady running slightly wide. Is that going to allow Luca Townsend to get a run on him? No, the bias isn't looking like it's allowing it, but Shane Bellotti here, you can see Stephen Cummins making a move on the outside into the braking zone, turn 1. Shane's going to hold the inside, but Stephen can keep it on the outside. You have the inside for this next part, but it looks like Shane has closed the door on him. There's good defence by the relatively new driver to OMA. But it looks like he's gone out wide, and that's allowed Stephen Cummins to just dive up for the inside. There looks to have been a bit of contact, has it? It's coming. There's Cummins, Braley and Townsend are all side by side. He's slotted in behind as the teammates bump doors. So you can see that Garside is all over the back of Ambrose for this lead. He's really been new quick driver this season as Garside. He joined late last season after some COVID-19 related restrictions, meaning he couldn't actually make it home to take part in the start of the season. But now that he's back in and he's back on form, he's really challenging. He's one that people are now tipping to possibly looking towards the front of the grid come the season end. But it's all going to come down to whether he can get this lead past Conor Ambrose. As I move away quickly, because you can see there is a battle really heating up in 7th place now as Jack Braley is looking like he's got past the battle that was including Borlotti, and that's creating a real train behind him. Borlotti is sat behind Jack's teammate of Luca Townsend. He's going to try and make a look on the inside. Stephen Cumming, of course, is sliding behind with his slightly higher power on the top speed Mercedes, as Garside has taken the lead. Have just missed it. Conor Ambrose is slotted on the outside. He's going to look to try and get a decent switch back through the turns, going into the quick left right and onto the back straight. Ambrose is looking to stick his nose in, looking to get alongside. You can see behind them Ashley Field is chasing down now as he's got past the Chevrolet of Declan Evans. So they're holding right away all the way to the left hand side of the track to defend this place is Garside. Is Ambrose going to get any kind of move going through the chicane? It doesn't look like it. It looks like 3 wide almost in the background there. But that lead change now between Ambrose and Garside is one to keep an eye off. So look back, see Ashley Field has now definitely got past Declan Evans, as has Jake Owen. Behind them, Ryan Powell in 6th place is coming up. He knows his teammate needs the assistance at the front, and he's going to try and get to him as quick as possible. Ashley Field in 3rd place is now going to be looking to battle onto the back of these two. The more that Garside and Ambrose battle, the more chance Ashley Field has, of getting onto the back of them. Garside has definitely got the pace to get away. We saw the way he raced him in the first race of the night. He got the lead and just got away, so Ambrose is going to make sure that he's got to stick onto the back of these guys. Just go away from the front 6 and see there's a battle too side by side between James Allen in 12th, and that looks to be Robert Newman in 13th, but it looks like Newman's gotten him on the straight so far, but it's all going to depend on the braking zone. You can see Newman is just holding that line. Allen defending well. A little bit of a bump between the two as they go through the curves, and Newman has to slide inside, but he's got to be careful because Andrew Lyon's making the dive up the inside of the pair of them. He made look like he had a look at it, but it didn't end up making that move. It looks like Newman gets shoved right out to the right hand side of that chicane as they come through, but we go back to the front, we can see this battle still heating up. So it's still first of Garside, 2nd Ambrose, 3rd Field, 4th Jacob all over the back of him, 5th is Declan Evans, and 6th is now Ryan Powell right on the back of him as he's looking to make that move, looking to get up to his teammate. He's going to want to clear Evans as quick as he can to get up to the front 4. And behind them you've got Braley and Townsend sat in 7th and 8th, and they're kind of in a lonely race now as they look to try and get slightly higher up the grid. Townsend currently is our championship leader. Race leader still, Phil Garside. Currently finds himself 8th in the championship. Battling him at the moment is Conor Ambrose, who is sat in 12th in the championship. 3rd place is Ashley Field, who of course is currently 4th in the championship, of course, and Jake Owen, who is 5th, who is currently sat in 3rd in the championship. So you've got a real mix here of drivers in terms of where they are in the championship and where they are battling. Ryan Powell is battling with Declan Evans, that is 2nd in the championship, battling against 13th in the championship. So it's one of those races at the moment where anything could pretty much happen, as it looks like Garside might be just getting a little bit of a gap here on Ambrose, who's potentially having to keep an eye on behind him of the oncoming Ashley Field in that Honda. Everyone knows the pace that Field has when he has a gap to make. We saw the amount that he closed down on Garside's lead in race 1, but it wasn't enough to get the win. Maybe 2 or 3 more laps and that would have been a real danger zone for Phil, but instead it was luckily the checker flag drew as Ryan Powell, you can see, has got past Declan Evans, finds himself in 5th place as Evans in 6th is just going to have to slot him behind. He's not in a position to challenge that one back, so now Ryan will be making that push up to the front 4. It looks there as Ashley Field is really challenging on the back of Ambrose, but not enough to make that move yet. Just going to see position from Knight behind him. There's a real train of cars all kind of vying for position. It looks like Ali Johnson's actually made that move, stick around the inside and then around the outside on Shane Bellotti. Stephen Cumming and Andrew Lawrence, but tucked in behind them. It's a real train you can see forming here. Let's go through the final turns to enter onto lap 13. We're going to stick with this quickly and see if Shane Bellotti can hold off Stephen Cumming, who's having to defend from Andrew Lawrence on his outside. Under braking, it looks like Cumming might be making a move on the inside of Bellotti, in fact, who does run slightly wide. That's going to leave the door open for Cumming if he was in there, but Cumming didn't quite put the position then. But Andrew Lawrence has suddenly appeared out of nowhere to go on the outside of Shane Bellotti through turn 3-4. So we can see the car side is actually getting a bit of a gap now at the lead. I expect that's because Ashley Field is making his moves. That's right, Ashley Field has made his way past Conor Ambrose, and in the process Jake Owen is also challenging Ambrose for that third place. Ambrose will defend that podium position with all his might. Zewin has to take to the grass to make sure that he doesn't cause an accident. So we can see right at the back is now Kieran McKeldin as the ticker comes up at the top. So Garside has made up 8 places at the start of this race up to get to where he is. So that's a decent drive from him, as well as Ashley Field has had to make up 9 places, and you can see now that with Ambrose having to defend from Owen, Field is now free to make the chase on Phil Garside. Behind them, Ryan is sat in 5th with 6th. Declan Evans has now dropped off, so Ryan will be trying to get to these two, but with only 3 laps to go, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible. Sorry, 2 laps to go now as we enter the penultimate lap. Going back through the grid, we can see the battle for 9th has calmed down a bit. The battle for 13th between Ben Berentz and James Allen. Nathan Rutherford, Kyle and Callum Kirkpatrick, and then of course Mark Ruddick and Robert Newman. Then right at the back is Kieran McKeldin, who's just had a really disappointing race here at Indianapolis. He was complaining that he wasn't getting any kind of, didn't get a feel for the car here at all. He wasn't enjoying himself, but as you look through you can see that the main battle really here is between Owen and Ambrose, as Owen has got third. Missed that one as I was trying to check through the grid to see how the rest of the grid was battling on, as Ambrose kicks up a little bit of dirt as he runs a little bit out on the outside to try and get as decent a run through as he can. You can see his teammate coming through behind him. Jake Owen still sat in 3rd place, with Conor Ambrose battling right behind him, but Ashley Field is now free to chase Phil Garside for the lead, and that gap is closing to just 100 feet now. Currently fastest lap of the race is going to Jack Braley down in 6th place, so he's going to get a fastest lap point at this rate. You can see Field really lining up in that Honda to try and make that move. You can see just how planted that Honda is through those turns. It doesn't look like it loses really any pace at all to the others. But as we go on to the final lap for what is race 3 of the night, it's Phil Garside followed by Ashley Field, followed by Jake Owen, Conor Ambrose, Ryan Powell. Jack Brady's now got ahead of Declan Evans, who's got Luca Townsend to defend from. Then it's Ali Johnston and Andrew Lawrence, followed by Shane Bellotti, James Allen, Ben Berentson, Stephen Cumming, Nathan Rutherford, Carl Cully, Callum Kirkpatrick, Robert Newman and Mark Ruddick down in 19th after starting in 3rd. As you can see, a car's gone off there. That's Stephen Cumming, who's made a mistake into turn 1. Looks to have lost a little bit of time there to where he was. But it doesn't look like Field is going to be close enough to make that pass on Phil Garside through the last few turns. And a stunning drive by the Englishman. So he's got himself all the way up into this position from what was a really lowly start, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to really make this move on Garside. So it does look like Phil Garside is going to take his 2nd win of the night, bar a mistake through these final corners. So we go on board with Phil Garside as Ashley Field. You can see he's made that dive for the inside. He made a last gas move, but that's going to be it now. Phil Garside is going to take his 2nd win of the night. Phil Garside takes 1st place, followed by Ashley Field. Jake Owen is going to take 3rd, 4th Conor Ambrose, 5th is Ryan Powell, 6th is going to be Jack Brady. The battle for 7th between Declan Evans and Luca Townsend is going to go to the line. It looks like Townsend's going to nick it on the line. What a finish again. Ali Johnston takes 9th, followed by Andrew Lawrence, and behind them you can see it's going to be Shane Bellotti, James Allen. As the battle looks for 15th between Ben Berentson and Carl Cully. It looks like Ben just got it on the line. All in all, yet another decent race and a 2nd win of the night for Phil Garside. So there it is. Final win, final race of the night. A second win of the evening for Phil Garside. So, all in all, a decent week again here at OMA. Phil Garside takes the win. So here we go, run through. Garside from Ashley Field and Jake Owen for third place, which is his second podium of the season. As I do a quick run through the standings to check to see how that's done. Let's see who got fastest lap for that one. Does look like that did get stuck and kept by Jack Braley, but only just, as Jake Owen with a 27.051 just couldn't overtake that 27.043. Make sure no one did a 26. Nope, that looks to have been it. So we'll run through quickly and just see what that does to the standings. So Jack Braley makes it yet another different driver to have a fastest lap this season. There's 8 different drivers have taken a fast lap out of 12 possible points on offer. Just shows how competitive it is. That 4th place for Conor Ambrose really has helped him out in the standings, but it'd be interesting to see what the final positions are as it stands. Lead of the championship is still held by Luca Townsend with 196. Second place does look like it's going to be held by Ryan Powell with 182, and third for Ashley Field 178. Jake Owen with 177 has just stayed out of the top 3, so he will not be carrying ballast into next week. Obviously with Brandon Bruce missing out, he has now dropped all the way down to potentially 8th, maybe even further as the positions keep getting added in. All in all, yet another decent race. You can see the TCRs, apart from Garside, really did struggle here tonight. Really did outdrive the car compared to what you expect that one to be doing here. So the final points are being added up for the drivers. So, again, your top 3 is Luca Townsend 196, Ryan Powell 182, Ashley Field 178, 4th Jake Owen 177, 5th Nathan Rutherford 156, in 6th is now Phil Garside with 150, and Callum Kirkpatrick sat in 7th with 139. 8th place is Brandon Roos on 125, 9th is held by Kyle Cully on 113, and rounding out the top 10 is Conor Ambrose with 110 points sat there for the 2 VTX drivers being the top 10. Obviously with quite a long season ahead of us, there is still 700 points up for grabs, so no one is even close to confirming champion at the moment.